I don't think it's...
I'm
hang on a minute.
Japan.
It's 5 hours back to UK
It's 8:30
time.
a.m.
Yes, I was going to say we should be
Yeah, of
getting
course you were
towards
gonna say
morning
that.
time, yeah.
That's
I was
the game of the answer,
I was
Tim.
going to say about 8:27, but
Yeah,
or maybe 8:34.
Well, you'd have been
I was
so
gonna
about say
say
7
about
minutes off.
8:34,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Tim. All right, cool. Yeah, you're just literally a second away from that calculation, that old head of yours. Right, bans are rolling on through. A reminder again that we do have the little bug at the minute where if blue team starts on defense, the bans are flipped. So what you're seeing now is SSG's ban coming out. They're going to take away the Monty. I think we all know that SCARZ, being from the Japan region, can be absolute terrors with the Monty, and they want none of that. SCARZ's ban was that Deimos. Yeah, taking away the Deimos, probably a smart move. We saw it used really, really well earlier by Atom particularly, and just... Consulate's a map that's got a lot of verticals, it's got a lot of soft surfaces, you can get above, get below, use those tracks and really do some damage, so no major surprises there. The Melusi, little bit of a surprise. We don't tend to see too many Melusi bans. The Banshees do get plenty of use, we do see plenty of picks, but not usually sort of strong enough or considered for a ban. Yeah, I was looking to see if there was any particular target in that one that you'd say, yeah, it makes sense to get banned away, but it doesn't overly, to be honest. Surprising one, at least from the SSG side, but I'll check out what it's like on the SCARZ side as well. Because I think for SCARZ, again, the Monty makes a lot of sense. The Melusi, okay, Tayo and Mashoy both play it. It's a mixed match. It's not exactly their go-to operator, but they will play it. I think that's more acknowledging that you would run into it basically every single round, and rather than having to deal with it by bringing along the utility to get rid of it, just clear it out of the way and be able to focus on charging your way through the map. But Azami being our final ban, no surprise to anyone. I think that's still our most planned operator across both the last major, across the stage, and now also at this major. And she'll keep on drawing those bans until the cows come home. Let's get into it though, Tim. Round one is now underway. We're going to start things out on the top floor, as mentioned. SCARZ are on the defense. And in terms of lineup, that Valkyrie, one of our most planned operators, also at this tournament is available. So unsurprisingly, we are going to see it ran. But on the other side to counter it, there is the Dopey.
Always fascinating to watch and see exactly what kind of attack we are going to have mounting here. Spoke about the sort of variation early. Generally, we'll have a little bit of attention to yellow, but the big variable is that admin side. Our SSG.
I've just sent you a message, by the way, from saying, "Are you coming?" Question mark with the cyan face.
It's about 2 minutes to go, does?
Yeah. See, this is the duality between me and Tim. Is Tim was down here when the time was still like 15 minutes to go. I rocked up when there was 2 minutes left. And that sounds like me and you arriving for a plane. Or are you the kind of person that gets to a train station early?
Well,
how early?
Trains in the UK,
how early?
No, I don't tend to bother getting there that early because I know that they're not often going to be on time. I don't really worry about it.
All right. Time being actually a big focus for us across this tournament. When I look back to the teams we spoke about yesterday and that we got the chance to cast, a big focus was how rapid they can be. And I think about Liquid earlier on today, a big thing that led to their downfall was their pacing in rounds. They were a little bit slow, a little bit behind the time, much like UK trains. So I think for SCARZ, if they can slow SSG down here and try and get the feel for how slow or how quickly they can move, may well start to influence the rest of the rounds as they play out. Ben just started out strong, and Rek, one of those players that we spoke to, Tim, that can have quite a big impact, is taken offline in the first kill of the game.
First of SSG's two former SI champions there, getting the opening kill. So there isn't really much better SI pedigree that you can find than SSG. Maybe G2, it's difficult to, really.
How long was Benja on G2 for? 30 days, was it? And he won an SI? Ludicrous stuff.
Yeah, it's
and had a brilliant performance as well.
You look at, if you look at previous SI pedigrees, G2 and SSG are pretty much the top dogs. Maybe NIP. There as well. Very consistent, but to say that I don't think they do reach that level given that they're not Benja does manage to get a second, picking up Fishlike, ashing onto Washoya as well, and this is kind of what we were a little bit worried about for SCARZ. They're on the defense of top floor, it's their first choice site, and SSG at the minute feel like they're washing over them at the minute. They're kind of picking the fights where they want. Perfect example of what I was saying. Flawless round comes in for SSG, and that's exactly what I was saying. SSG are just picking the fights where they want to take them, and they're quite happy to just go into the gunfight. Shenano against Nino, bang, wins it quite easily. He shouldn't be winning that fight on that window realistically, but does. And that was the story all over the map. SSG just coming out with superior gunfire and superior skill on that round. They're going to close it out 1-0.
They just look completely unbothered. I mean, Benja getting the opening 2 kills.
They are in their lane.
They are slippy.
They really are.
Doesn't look phased at all, but take a pause just to sort out here. What really made it for me then was the admin that's just rocked up there a second ago, just looked at Ashen and his face just dropped. I think he just knew that he was going to get a load of shit from Ashen, basically. And Ashen is sure enough giving it to him.
And he's being
he's told him twice now, shush. But the problem with Ashen is there is no shushing him, as we know well. When he wants to shout and scream, he'll shout and scream. Can't really imagine he'll be too mouthy with SCARZ, truthfully. Like, it's not really the style to do against a pretty quiet opponent. You want someone that'll mouth off back, and that's when you really get the fireworks flying.
Yeah, great start from SSG there. As I said, I think, for me, SCARZ have to come out big here on Consulate. They really need to come out and get that first map, get a good win. It's their own choice. I think if they get behind, SSG are the sort of side, they've got so much experience. Once they're on top, they ain't going to lose. They know how to win games. They know how to close them out. And so I think SCARZ need to be getting themselves a lead in terms of the map, not just in terms of rounds here in the map. So not an ideal start for them, with SSG coming out flawless there as well. SCARZ really not having very much impact on that whatsoever. They're going to move away from that top floor site. It's going to be down to basement. So again, what will SSG do here? Do they look for that full map control, or maybe do they just look for that backside push, get straight in, drop the hatches, push across, don't worry about the rest of the map? We'll see as we get into it. They've got Forest on the Blackbeard. That's the one that stands out to me, although I know on the Chalet, if that pick sticks, it's a bit of an interesting one. Could be there to potentially deal with that electrification, but with no hard breach on side, it doesn't really seem like there's too much of a point for it. So interested to see where J9 is going to... No, there we go. I was going to say where they're going to utilise that Chalet. As it stands, it looks like he's going to be moving away from the dock of it, which makes much more sense. Sledge, hard breach, it's going to be garage side.
I mean, Dockerby I've spoke about to the nines at this point, Tim. I think, without a shadow of a doubt, at least in my mind, the best operator in the game right now. And others might say, well, shields exist. I'm like, I get it. But there's a reason why teams like W7M and BDS, who are constantly at the top end of a tournament, have 3 players that have Dockerby in their most played. Hello! It's Christmas.
You remember what I said about Rek at the beginning?
Yeah, he's proper playing like a rat there, isn't he, for sure?
Do you remember I said he reminds me in some ways of like a sloth kind of play style from EU? And that's exactly the sort of thing I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm just going to stand here next to this wall and wait for him to breach it.
It's keeping them busy and keeping them chasing them around the map, which I think is the important part. Seen a few teams also at this competition so far play very turtle, very defensive. In fact, in our game earlier on today, Tim, that is exactly what we saw. I don't think it was really a big issue. Unwanted played a very, very solid defensive turtle game, and it was very difficult for the other side of Liquid to be able to break that down. Admittedly, they were quite slow. But I do like the SCARZ are sticking to their own play style, not being intimidated by their opponent here. They're willing to go and play the game. Bashoy gets one, instantly traded out on the back of it. Now the pistol in hand, surely he doesn't win that one. Absolutely does not. But Ashen down to a slither of HP now, being flanked from the back as well. It's a Legion on side, and we'll find his man. Ashen falls and a 4v3 for SCARZ breaks out. Yeah, much better passage of play for SCARZ there than we saw in the first round. Able to get in and get a couple of kills, give themselves a little bit of an advantage. The problem that they've got is Rek and Fishlike both on low health, but it's not going to matter because even with the few HP he's got, Fishlike is able to find 2 more, and he's earned the right to just stay up there now, play his life, and just try to get that final kill. But smart play from SCARZ. They haven't overcommitted. They've said, no, you know what? We've got the job done. We're going to drop away. Low play from site. SSG, this one's falling apart. Yeah, I don't think you complain too much there if you Fishlike as well. 3 kills coming into the second round. Really showing SSG that they're not walking into a free 7-0 march over here. Probably won't get that freebie they had against Virtus Pro in the first game yesterday on Chalet. As mentioned, that will be the second map we step into. Picked up by SCARZ, who clearly feel that they've identified some good counter-analysis they can make use of in the game itself. Ross will do what he can in the last 60, Tim, but I think, like you said, this round's pretty cooked. Yeah, he's not coming and winning this now. We'll see, obviously, you know, moving on, where does SCARZ go next is probably going to be the big question to answer as he tries to come through into yellow. They know exactly where he is. Nina steps out with a shotgun, gets the job done, and that is SCARZ picking up their first round. Much, much better from them, and I think that's going to be a really good one to settle them in. They've got a couple of good kills there. Rek got away with, you know, that attempt on the soft wall. He could well easily have been caught out there, but no, he managed to move away. Didn't get the kill, but again, it just sort of put the frighteners on SSG a little bit. It gave them that message that, look, nothing's coming for free here. If we want map control, we're really going to have to fight for it. Really well played by Fishlike overall again. The 2K that he netted out, that shot in particular was the one that really defined it for me. He was giving nothing away to the other side. Makes it look a little bit too easy. For SSG at least, there's a bit of team play coming together, but maybe a little bit broken apart there, unfortunately. For round 3, though, I believe we're going to piano, Tim, on this one. We've been down to the basement. We were doing a bit of analysis earlier on the numbers, and this actually is the most successful site for the defenders on Consulate. A little bit of a surprise there for me. I thought when we saw it as our first sight between the two teams earlier on today that it was just going to the offsite to start things off, trying to throw the other side a little bit off, but no. Looks like there's very good reason for it. It all comes down to the numbers. It's really helped double down on this defense. We've got the Mute and the Mozzie coming along. We actually had a Mute ban earlier today as well. I love seeing the Mute Mozzie combo still. Even though all these years on, it's kind of dropped away in effectiveness a little bit. I still love seeing it. I think it can just be really good to punish teams that don't do their due diligence or don't know how to move fast with taking sensible risks and just get punished for it.
You can see exactly what it's being used for there, Reg. He's not looking to, close off that entire top floor to Intel. He's just looking to create himself a bubble. He's just keeping himself off the radar in there, waiting to maybe pounce into admin or back out to long desk, depending where SSG push from, depending where they look to start this top floor clearance. Because they will need to go in and clear that top floor. There's 3 players up there for SCARZ. They have to shift them because the verticals down onto this site can be super powerful. But saying that, look at Benja. He's just moving across, looking for any potential opportunities on a little lateral push. And SCARZ might not be ready for this. He's going to be sticking his face into sight any second.
Around, but I think the drone at the feet will definitely be a bit of a giveaway as to what might be coming. I can think of many times that I've seen Benja being droned into a map, Tim, not strictly on SSG, but back in the previous days, whether it was back in the Nordic Championship or on G2. It's a 1,000,001 times, and SCARZ hopefully have got a little bit of anticipation about what might be coming. There's a player underneath as well, Ashen, digging in tight here, hoping to find someone. Now Benja starts to strike while the attention's gone, and Nina's just put Ashen in the dirt. Casual as anything.
The thing is, Benja here just prevents a lot of movement inside of sight, takes his opportunity, just waiting for a little bit of a distraction of the drone coming across, goes in and gets the kill onto Tayu. The call will have gone out that Benja's inside of sight now, but he's not the one with the case. It's Fultz on the sense that he's going to be looking for the plant, and that is not ideal. Forest, somehow, we didn't quite see it, but he's taken his own man down, and that's advantage SCARZ, and they've got the top floor, and they've got the Nitro. Nina takes him down, 4v2. And SCARZ are looking good.
Oh dear, SSG. In such a commanding position where you've got your entry inside a site, he's got full control, and you can't pull it together from there. Still got 2 players up, still a chance. They can recover this one. The smoke coming on through. 3 players on the side of SCARZ, so looking no doubt to beat this one. He's going down, more smoke's laid in. I tell you what, Tim, it's like a rave in there with all those laser lights that's missing. But no one can see a thing. At this point, user is now down. 3 players of SCARZ have got to scramble to recover this.
That's a mistake from SCARZ. They've got that top floor, they've got those verticals. Even with the smokes coming out, they can't allow that plant to go down. But honestly, SSG have got a really good chance of winning this round. It's all going to be up to Forest, but he can't find the second one. Nina manages to take him down, 3rd in the round, and SCARZ do manage to get away with that one. They manage the retake. Disable that diffuser, get the round 1. Like I say, for me, you can't allow that if you've got that top floor and you've got numbers up there. SSG, a bit of a, I don't know, a bit of a crazy round from them, really. Benja walks into sight, but there's only really one person there for him to find the kill on. The rest of the work has to come on the top floor. I think they were kind of maybe hoping for SCARZ to scramble a little bit, like, oh my god, Benja's in sight, and, try and react to it and then pick them up as they did on the top floor, but SCARZ just never really did. They were just like, you're not going to plant because we're upstairs, so you do what you want. You can stand inside the site.
I think it's more just like, we didn't hear the diffuser going down, so why would we panic?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we have no reason to. And I love how actually they kind of acknowledged, okay, look, there's tons of smoke there. It's absolute chaos. We're not going to get away with this. Let them plant and we'll just play the retake. And at first I was a little bit like, well, you're giving this away here. Like, you've got a single doorway, you've got to watch. Just spray when you hear any kind of movement or another smoke coming out. But I actually don't hate how they played it out as well. Cool and composed as anything. Nina's had a great round and got a 3K. 0 complaints from how they've done it. Now, quick tech pause, as you can see. I believe it's on the SCARZ side. There's a small issue. Once rectified, we'll be straight back into it. But there's a few players all reconnecting as well, so maybe there's a bit more of a widespread issue, Tim.
Yeah, potentially. I think this doesn't really hurt SSG at all at this point. I think, given the way those have gone over the last couple of rounds, SCARZ, aside from round 1, SCARZ have looked actually really good over the last couple. Round 2 and 3, they've been well on top of it. They've won the gunfights that they've needed to. I think SSG are struggling to find kills at the minute. The team kill, Forest onto Fultz, certainly not ideal. Big loss there. I know they got the diffuser down, but ultimately, if you bring in a sense, that sense is going to be a big part of that final execution. So, You don't want to be executing the Sens yourself before you manage to try and put that diffuser down.
I'm sure you can hear the noise from the other stream as well. It is being dangerously close over there. In fact, it was tied up at 7-7. I've literally just watched Secret get the final kill, so they're going to map 3 in that series, Tim.
Tasty.
I think many expected that would be a bit of a tight one between those two teams, and it is proven to be just that. Excited to see how that one closes out. It gives us a bit of time while this one rolls on. Maybe the tech pause to come to a close.
Yeah, we're just
audio issue, I've been told by production, by the way, which is why it's being addressed.
It looks like wreck. It's, I think, being dealt with at this point. So we're going to be getting people back in kind of one by one. Get back into this as soon as we can do. But yeah, SCARZ for me. Just keep rolling with the confidence at this point. They're winning all the gunfights. You know, Nina hit a nice C4, but got a 3K as well. I think just keep it loose. I think, to be honest, it's actually no surprise that the site that they lost was up on the top floor, because not many kills have come from inside of the site so far for the side of SCARZ. And on top floor, you don't really have much of a choice other than to kind of play in and around the site. It's, you know, there's no point having a roam game because they're just going to leave you out in the cold and just attack directly anyway. So it's no surprise that it's the other sites that they've actually done better on. So maybe now they can get that top floor locked down. I would imagine that's where they'll go back to for round 4, but it's just a bit of a different feel, bit of a different vibe up there compared to the other two sites. And SCARZ so far benefiting from being able to just, you know, have a bit more freedom, get out in the map and challenge SSG all over the place.
Yeah, need taming a little bit, I think, as well. And I think you can see it's Fish-like who's had a bit of a reconnect as well, because he did hit that 3K in one of the earlier rounds to make the round a very comfortable close for his team. So onwards we march into that second quarter, as I like to call it as well. In those first 3 rounds, you tend to see a 3-site rotation, and then we repeat that same rotation again. That's why it's really common to see attack timeout after 3 rounds, knowing that you're going back into the same 3 sites again. And maybe you can correct some issues there as the coach to get things over the line. SSG, of course, not taking that here. They're carrying on as things are. They feel, you know what, we can recover this by ourselves. No need for coach intervention just yet. Lost something, Tim?
No. Oh, no.
You sure? So you're like, what have you lost?
I haven't lost anything. I just couldn't remember whether I'd put it somewhere.
You know, it looked like to me like a real keys, phone, wallet pat, that did. You know, the classic.
I've got my wallet and my phone. I don't need my keys.
Well, you technically do, it's just a card.
I don't need my keys. I live in Bath. I don't live in Bath.
You really got that one wrong.
I did do that. That was wild. Right, into the action phase we go. We've got the drones raining in from SSG, and they're just going to be looking to piece together a picture of exactly what they're facing up on this top floor. I questioned it in the first round. We didn't really get to see too much of it because SSG got the kills quite quickly. I'll question it again. Are we going to see SSG heading in towards admin? Venger is out there on rappel, so it looks like that will be the case. They're going to open the closet wall as well. So SCARZ are maybe going to have to have a little shift, because at the minute, Nina is over there on the Valkyrie, but kind of on their own. Ashen's on the top side as well on the Grim, so they're both going to be moving into admin. So definitely going to need to move some personnel. Washoy might just need to come a little bit deeper down towards vending, try and support over on this side, because there's going to be a weight of numbers for SSG coming in from the admin side.
Seem relatively happy to let it happen. At the end of the day, trying to push in from the admin side, especially in towards site, is a nuisance because it's very bottlenecky. Once you started your march down the middle hallway, well, you're sort of stuck in the hallway. Someone could swing you, you're dead. Or trying to get into the single doorway down to the south, you're dead. It's this exact doorway here. It is not a good time to come pushing in. So for you as the defenders to try and hold on to that longer hallway, although it's good to do for a time, and we saw teams doing that a lot at the start, I also don't blame SCARZ here for, at least now the map has advanced a little bit in terms of the meta and the understanding of it, just to acknowledge where the bottlenecks are and play behind those instead.
Just going to keep peeking this angle through towards admin. So it's telling me that they know that's where the pressure's going to be coming from. Nina does manage to pick up Ashen. That's the Grim gone as well. That's not ideal for SSG because, again, that's one of those operators that's really going to support that final push, that final execute. You want those beams going in just to try and lock people in place, but not going to be possible now. Nitro goes over the top unsuccessfully. J9O just looking for a challenge there. Can he find it? No.
Oh,
yes,
flick!
He does, and he gets a second onto Washoy that trades out the kill onto Forest. 3v1 now. J9O going absolutely crazy. Fultz is getting that diffuser down. Rec has got it all to do, and it's going to be tough. He can't move out of this spot. He's locked inside of a crossfire at the minute.
What an interesting game this is turning into when we've had so many big hero moments from different players on both teams. They don't know, just absolutely deleted them. SCARZ had the right idea as well, a 2 versus 1. They were playing for the trade. But that flick onto Tayo to start off that whole flow in motion was absolutely beautiful. One bat for Rek. We know that he's got it in him to be able to pull out big plays like this. But I don't think SSG are going to give him absolutely anything, Tim.
Thinking about taking the long arm on, but knows he can't stick it. Peeks around and gets Benja right up in his face. He's going to find that final kill. That's going to close it out for SSG, leveling it up at 2-2. They've been able to get those wins on the top floor, but like I say, it comes down to whether they can tame SCARZ when SCARZ have the opportunity to get out into the map, which is going to be round 5 and 6, and they're back onto those other sites that they've had wins on already. But it was well played from SSG. They established, you know, a nice safety net around that plant. Rek couldn't really move out of the spot that he was in. As soon as it was secured, they just dropped back into safer positions, held their angles, and waited for Rek to try and do something.
Oh,
so pretty textbook, really nice stuff. And yeah, beautiful double left and right side of the door there. Just get Tayo and Washoy being taken down by J9O. It was a real big power play moment for SSG to get them into that round. I feel like they needed that. J9O just closing it out beautifully.
If J9O goes down there to Tayo, and really, it should have been dead to rights to Tayo because his focus is on the right-hand side of the door. Again, that flick, although it's a real micro movement, led to 3 kills that then really accelerated the round in their favor. Otherwise, I think SCARZ probably still managed to hold on. This is why it's coming down to these hero moments. I spoke about it in the round, but in every single round so far, there has been a 3K from a different player. Benja, Fishlike, Nina, and then J9O in that round there. It is coming down to individual moments of brilliance at the moment, so we haven't really had the full chance to, you know, witness these teams being strategically strong or playing really solidly as a team. Sure, those 3Ks were enabled by what the team was doing, but I think once things settle down a bit more and no one player is popping off the way that individuals have so far, you'll get a better feeling for how things are actually going inside of a team.
Benja's just going to be opening up the closet wall there. Get the drone in, looking at a potential point of entry. You can see the effect that Rek's had. Potential point of entry coming in there, but just being extra cautious. And this is what happens. You know, yeah, Rek makes a play like that. He doesn't get the kill, but what it's done is just waste another 15 seconds. Waste another 20 seconds without him needing to be there again. And that's the beauty of these unpredictable players sometimes. They can have an impact round after round after round without having to actually make the same plays. As it is, they're going to drop away here, SCARZ, all back down to the basement. So SSG, within a minute, have now got control of the upper levels of the map, and they can start applying a little bit of pressure onto site itself. But they need to be cautious. Pulse, Washoy, he's watching, he's waiting, he's underneath. Plenty of soft surfaces, maybe an opportunity for a little vertical nitro.
What I really love is how, as a team there, 3 or 4 players from SCARZ have all played out towards admin side, look to be aggressive around bunker, for example, and we're hoping to catch someone out the Visa window is what I'm pretty sure they were aiming for initially. And then in the same motion, all players have dropped back in towards site. They've got the late mirror window going down. Just good to show that it's not one player off acting on their own. They are thinking as a team here in terms of their roam and what they're trying to do. And of course, being informed by a Pulse is going to make things a million times easier. But SSG haven't lost anyone too early in things. So I think actually, although that Pulse is there and it is being the information, no one's being caught out. As I say it, Tim, naturally cast a curse. Benja's the first to fall.
Yeah, well, sure, he picks him up, and SCARZ are just using that intel really well. They know that there's another one above the hatch watching the angle, though. You better be careful. Just waiting for that push to come forward, looking to pick up Pulse on the Grim. Nitro goes out, just going to miss its target, I think. Wrong side of the wall. Pulse safely on that harder surface to the side, but he needs to be careful playing around that hatch because Washoy has already shown that he's quite willing to get underneath it and have a little peek. But 40 seconds left to go. SSG do get the main breach off, so now there's a little bit of pressure coming from both sides. Washoy's feeding back. We've still got one on the rear side. Fultz manages to pick up Fishlike. That leaves us now 4 versus 4, 30 seconds left to go, but the clock could become the enemy for SSG.
Always the way to it becomes the 6th man for the other side, and that's a golden chance. I was going to say he's missed 2 kills there almost, but no. Washoy does get rid of Ashen. Bolt still walking around, and basically no HP has still managed to pick up more kills. Tim, it's the 5th round in a row that we've had a 3K, and it's Fultz the one that is making the difference. If only we'd seen that Castle get the kill on him earlier on. 4 kills for him in the end as well.
SSG waking up a little bit in that last round. It was another one where SCARZ, I'm not sure that SCARZ have really...
Bless Fultz, by the way. He shouted, then Ashen shouted, then Fultz shouted again. I was like, that's when a little brother's next to their big brother, and the little brother feels he can talk some smack because big brother's there.
SCARZ, I think maybe not sort of recognising or realising what the main strength was for them in round 2 and 3, and that was being out in the map. All the kills came away from site mostly, and it was about giving SSG problems to solve, whereas that time, within a minute, all back on site, and look, it doesn't work out for them because SSG have got time to play their game, got time to set themselves up. We know that SSG are methodical. They like to set things up. They like to go step by step, and by all being back in sight, you're giving them the opportunity to do that rather than forcing them to kind of play on the fly.
All right, then. I mean, we've seen both teams at least show a bit of flair. Again, I'll keep coming back to the fact that it is relying a lot on these multi-kills. It's relying on one player to get that first kill and then just roll through 2 more players straight after. And that's the round over and done with. Think about games earlier on today where we've seen someone get a couple of entry kills to start things off, and it's like, great, it's 5 versus 3. How often do you see a team bottle a 5 versus 3? And although in your memory you might think, actually, I can think of a good few times I've seen teams lose 1v5s and 2v5s and things like that. That's because they're so crazy that a team can come back and win that in the man disadvantage situation. It just sticks to your mind, but it is very, very rare. And so I think that's what we want to see both teams calm on a little bit here. It's great to see individual players pulling off the sort of magic they are, but the opponent really needs to be able to stop this happening.
Drone is going to be going in ahead of Benja on the Blitz. We've seen quite a bit of Blitz play today here on the B stream. It may be the Blitz stream for the day. We'll see whether Benja has any luck with it. Just waiting for that intel ahead of him. It's Fultz that's on the drone. J9 is also just trying to provide a little bit of information. In goes Benja. Got the yellow ping ahead of him. He's just going to try and chase him down. Needs to be careful. Does have the support of Fultz, and they managed to get the kill with Shoy taken down. Perfect use of the Blitz for the entry.
It was dead to rights because you had Fultz coming in behind the shield, and you also had someone coming down yellow stairs at the same time. There was zero chance where Shoy walks out of there alive. This is the risk when you have roamers off by themselves against a team that is very happy to chase you around the map when they've been playing things like Dokkaebi and Jackal and now the Lion too. They've got all the tools to deal with roamers, and I think the SCARZ have got to pay a bit of respect to that. Roamers a group or not at all.
Yeah, and that's, I think, what they did well in round 2 and 3. And then we've kind of seen it mixed up a little bit over the last couple, and they're not getting the same result. SSG are well on top of them now. The Jackal track comes out. That's going to tell Benja exactly where this man is, and it's as easy as that. Peeks around the corner, picks up a headshot onto Fishlax. 5 versus 3 now. 1 minute 10 on the clock. Everything is stacked in SSG's favour for this round.
And they've played it so well. They've isolated players, identified where they are on drones, and then just punished them as a group is the key thing. The Jackal trap letting Benja in to do the work that he did. All good stuff. Benja just finally get picked off, and shock horror Tim, a bit of team play is what nets SCARZ a kill back on the other side. As said, if you keep on leaving individual players out, that's when you're going to start paying the price. But I like at least the SCARZ have shown a bit of fight back. I still feel like SSG have got what it takes here to get this done. 4 smokes on side. You've got the Candelas. They've got all the tools in the world to make this happen. Yeah,
it's just about getting into position. 2 things they need to do. Get in position for the execute and also prevent anything that could stop and putting the diffuser down. In this case, that's the pulse underneath. The Nitro's gone, but of course Nina can still shoot through the floor, so they need to be aware of that. Tayo and Rek both on low health though, but they need to be careful here, SSG. They're almost in danger of just feeding in through a single doorway one at once. Fultz manages to pick up Tayo. There you go. That's the kill that they needed. That's the one that broke the back of the defense, and then the final one comes in towards the end, and that is another nice attack coming in from SSG.
Looking cozy. Let's say 4 and 2 on the most
comfortable for them.
On the second most defender-sided map in the game over the last 6 months. Definitely not a bad outcome to have walked away with 4 attacks. And although I think at points there, SCARZ definitely showed them what they can do. I think back to Fishlike's 3K. I think back to the other 3K they netted as well. Again, moments of brilliance, strictly like outplaying SSG strategically or punishing them for the way they're playing. Dare I say, it feels like SCARZ are kind of passengers in this, and SSG are the ones who are determining how the game is being played. Now they move on to the defensive side. Always 2 halves to a game of Siege. Could see something very different happen here, but it does feel like SSG probably have got this one in the bag, Tim. And I'm always the last person to say that based on the side swap.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, ultimately, SCARZ are always going to be looking, particularly for Nina and Rek, to turn up and get plenty of kills and get active and be the driving force for the team. Everybody's capable on there, but they're going to be your big names. Nina, 6 and 5, Rek, 2 and 5. It's just not enough. It's just not enough to drive it through. Nina, I think, was a 3K in one round, in the first round, or second round. So it's going to be... Sorry, third round. I'll just keep going. If I can just keep going through the numbers, I'll get there eventually. You know, Nina picking up a 3K in 1 round, that just goes to say that actually they've been a little bit quiet across 6 rounds. So, yeah, for me, I think just not enough coming out of SCARZ at the minute. And SSG are a team that, given the opportunity like this, they will just grind you down.
They will. We've seen them do it many a time. Always looking for that next step, because like I said earlier on, they've not made it past the quarterfinal of a major competition. Even looking at Gamers 8 over the summer, same sort of story. Montreal, same sort of story. It keeps on happening. I want to see if they've really got it in this tournament to take that extra step, to make it to a semi and really push on for the NA region. Of course, we're a far way away from that. It's about a week and a half until we get to that point of the competition. Still plenty of siege to play in before then. SCARZ, for now, I've got the Soul set up with a double shield set up. You've got that Ying on side, so they're calling it a little bit of Japanese chaos, Tim. We're used to this.
Yeah, they're going to drop into yellow, and they're going to drop as soon as they do. J9 and Ashen picking up 2. Wachoi manages to find a trade. 4 versus 3. Wachoi with the second, though, actually gets both of them. Benja takes him down, but maybe the damage is already done. 3 versus 2. Toxic Babes are coming out very early in the round. That's going to leave them maybe without a little bit of denial later on, but the important thing here is Nina. They still have those Candelas. They still have that utility to potentially allow them to push into side.
See that? Oh, that's twice.
That's the missed opportunity.
Because Rek had the same chance, but in that moment, it was a classic siege time moment where he's moved his crosshair off to the left and only then saw the outline of the player as he stepped into the door, had to flip back by then, too late. The player has stepped away, so both players here, I feel, could have had a kill that they now haven't got, and it still leaves SSG with a man advantage.
Yeah, I really feel if Nina gets that kill up the hatch, it's 2v2, they've got Candelas, there's every opportunity for them to be able to get in, you know, brute force another kill, and then look at getting a plant down. Challenging the same angle is unlikely to work now. Fultz knows where you are, and he's going to be ready. He's going to fire back, and that's exactly what happens. Rek takes a ton of damage as well. SSG are holding on well. Benja manages to find the kill onto the gridlock, and that leaves Nina all alone. Only 1 Candela left to use. 1 versus 3. This is going to be a big ask because SSG, they're not going to overcommit. They're going to wait for Nina to make the move. They're going to find the kill, and that is a 5th round for the NA side, and they're starting to run away with SCARZ's map pick of Consulate.
They've played that dance around top yellow, I think, for a bit too long there. Like, Nina's got the 2 Candelas in back pocket.
Yep.
You know that player's going to step back as soon as you start putting any kind of heat on him. So just drop a Candela in there, save yourself 30 seconds, force him back, and then look at what comes next. But they were so hell-bent on trying to catch him out when they were simply not going to allow that to happen, that they left themselves with very little to do in the closing stages of that round. And SSG looking very, very comfortable for our first defense. Now down to the basement we go. They win this one. They've got a 4-round advantage over SCARZ, and they're already at map points.
Yeah, it was solid. I don't think SCARZ did enough work before they tried to push top yellow. You know, they drop in there, they push the Blackbeard round. Blackbeard was dead immediately as soon as they stepped round that corner.
Deleted, Tim.
Absolutely. And they'd not done enough softening up. You know, where was the attention to bathroom window? Get bathroom window open, prevent a player from staying inside of there or playing around desk, force them out, make SSG go deeper. They'd open CEO window, but there was nobody on there. Again, you know, get somebody on there or get somebody on connector. Just force SSG deeper into site before you start trying to push through yellow, because you see exactly what happens. You lose 2 men immediately because SSG, they're ready for it. That's exactly. There's only 2 places that you're waiting for as a defender on top floor. You're waiting for yellow, you're waiting for admin. And so SSG are sat looking at it. You've got to disrupt them before you can push in. And they've just caught them out on trying to bandit trick as well there. So Forest, he can still stick it. There's no reason why not. He's going to pop it on there. I don't think there was any breach coming forward. It's Maverick on the other side anyway, so it's not really too much of a big deal. Forest won't know that, but it may be time for him to just drop away. Yeah,
enough to give a bit of pressure. They've also got nades they can play with if they have to force him a little bit further back. So Forest, I think it's more of a, well, I'll drop down the battery, and then I am out of there. If I can waste a bit of time, then fantastic. But I'm not expecting to be able to sit here and actively trick onto that wall. And don't blame him, because now they know he's there, danger only begins to grow. So largely pulling themselves back, but still a couple of players, Tim, here, look, running around on this top floor. And SCARZ, so focused on trying to get bunker control, I think they're thinking about a direct hit towards site. They won't be aware about this vertical potential that could come in and really cause some damage, but here we go. They're on the march.
Yeah, we've seen this plenty of times from Benja, particularly before. He's being joined from Ashen here. But yeah, Benja's at his absolute best when he just gets the freedom to do whatever he wants. Get out into the map, and just cause a nuisance. And that's exactly what he's going to look to do. Ashen's going to drop Spiral now, look to move down Banana, see if he can find anybody at the bottom of there. Nobody available at the minute. And Benja, he's just going to probably follow suit, I think, and maybe hope to catch somebody out.
I was going to say direct towards site is 100% the call, so SSG have got to scramble back here and start looking to cover off the rest of their team. 2 kills definitely going to help in that motion. Benja with 1 more for himself, Ashen into another, and SCARZ have once again fallen apart here. Tim a little bit too one-directional, a little bit too predictable.
Exactly that. Just going to be trying to find anybody here. Cut down by Fultz. It's Fishlight managing to find J90, but again, 1 versus 3. Even on the Blackbeard, can't get anything going. Fultz shuts him down. That's going to be the round.
A bit too easy at the moment. Walking pace, it feels like, for SSG. Not really had to get out of second gear so far. SCARZ are not looking too comfortable on the attack. Honestly, I wouldn't be too shocked if they're coming into this and thinking, you know what, if we can get 1 map away, that feels like a win in itself, because there's a lot of work to be done. Not forgetting, again, that we're going into Chalet next, that we saw SSG play yesterday, so SCARZ may well have something prepared for that map and a way to deal with what they saw coming out of SSG. But like I said earlier, Tim, how much can you really learn from 8 rounds of 1 map?
I'm going to let you in on a secret, Des. A lot. If SCARZ continue like this, they're not going to get anywhere. Nope. Here's the reality. Don't get me wrong. Love the Japan, love the Japan League. Love the Japanese region. We've covered it plenty. Enjoyed watching SCARZ. This is not the best that they can perform. No. We saw, in round 2 and 3, they felt really good, and it's because they played their game. They got out in the map, and they were a little bit unpredictable. They took the gunfights, and then we saw towards the end of the defences that kind of dropped away, and they were just playing on site, and it didn't work out as well for them, because that allows SSG to play their game of setting themselves up, playing the execute that they want, finding the kills that they want, and SSG did that very well. Now that the sides have switched, SCARZ just look, in all honesty, a bit out of their depth here on the attack.
They do, and that's where I'm starting to get worried, is that, like you say, I doubt they even walk away with the map based on how this has gone. As I said, the only 2 rounds we've seen them find any success has been on 3Ks from Nina and from Fishlike.
Yeah.
Great 3Ks.
You can't rely on it, though.
No, yeah, and this is what I always say, it's great when individual players are popping off, but you can't rely on that being a strategy to win a game, because all things being even, like, a player should get 1 kill in a round and be traded out or die in some other way, shape, or form, unless you're really having a standout performance. I mean, Benja's probably that one player you look at the moment alongside Fultz and say, you know what, you guys really are flying in this game. Jane, I know, also not exactly a slouch. This one I think will be done, Tim. It'll be a 7-2 first map.
Absolutely. I mean, what you're looking for ideally is, to win a round by good strategy, to win another round by good strategy, to, in your 3rd round, yeah, maybe things don't go to plan and somebody pops off and you win the round anyway. That's what you're looking there for. You can't have that being your only rounds. You've got to be winning with good siege as well, especially at this level. And that's not really happening for SCARZ at the minute, so we'll see whether things can improve for them or not. But in all honesty, it feels like SSG are on a pretty good day as well. They didn't, I don't think, deal with the unpredictability of SCARZ in round 2 and 3 fantastically well. But when they've been able to play their game, they've looked great doing it.
I'm more concerned already that the fact that we had a SSG looking to now get involved in the thing and challenge up against Windows quite early on.
Well, it's no surprise.
Not even want to let SCARZ in the building.
5-2, you've got Benja and Ashen up on top floor running round for a basement defence. That tells you exactly how SSG are feeling here. And they are that kind of team. If they feel like they're on top, they'll take advantage of that. And they'll get cocky with it. They'll get aggressive with it. They'll go after you, especially when they're on defence.
Here we go. Nina's in. Finds Ashen. Good start to the round. Not a bad one to be able to win the trade out on. Ashen, I think, as we all know, is the IGL for this team. Also, 2nd highest rated. Not a bad player at all. Him being brought down by the best player on the other side of Nina. Nothing to really turn your nose up at. 10 seconds till another call is available for Nina on that Dokkaebi at the same time. You'd hope to see SCARZ start to get some control of the map here and start thinking about, okay, what does an execute begin to look like without being sideswiped or caught out by someone on the SSG side.
4 versus 4 though, as Forest manages to level things up with a headshot onto Fishlike, taking down the Lion as well. That could be a big loss. Just going to lose some of those E1D scans as well. Might provide SSG with a little bit more freedom. Rek seeing what he can get going on the Bravo. Not going to find anybody at the moment. J90 just moving back upstairs towards that site. But for the time being, we're just seeing a little bit of a stalemate playing out over the last minute or so.
The thing is, the onus always comes on to SCARZ. Like, they're the ones on the attack. They're the ones who have to get map control and make things move here. And if SSG are happy to say, you know what? We've got the kill we need. We've started things off by getting rid of the line. It takes a lot of the pace away from their attack, and we can now just sit back and wait. Then cool. They're happy to let SCARZ come to them is the key one, I think, Tim. They're already here. They're lining up on this doorway. This is not looking pretty for them. They're walking into what could be a bit of a slaughter.
Auto canister is going to go out just to prevent those SCARZ pellets from detonating. Save a little bit of time with 30 seconds left to go. He can actually keep that wall closed. Forest manages to find Tayo with the Nitro. SSG are looking good for this. 4 versus 3. They're not going to suffer the breach from SCARZ by the looks of it. Washoy does manage to find one, but Benja, he's holding on. Nina's taken down. 15 seconds left to go. The plant is going down though. Washoy, can he stick it here?
Is it
3v1, he can't. J9 with a double. Somehow SCARZ had crept in, but SSG, they figured it out in time, and they get map 1 closed out. That's going to be a Consulate win, and SSG looking very, very comfortable. 7-2.
Barely so much a whisper required from Ashen to gas his team up and get through that one. It was very, very comfortable. SCARZ, I feel, is lacking a lot of teeth on the attack, and when I say teeth, it more means around the coordination that comes into it. That was very, very single-minded. Go towards site. Don't worry about roamers upstairs. Don't worry about downstairs. They didn't really bring the complexity that SSG were expecting, and they made it look like child's play. Tim, we'll go to a break. When we come back, map 2 awaits.
Ouais, choc-les, choc-les, ouais, choc-les, 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 ouais, voilà ce qu'ils me disent, je les entends parler et ils m'étrisent, j'arrête que pour rafler la mise, petit pas sur la piste, et le succès je l'ai pisté, disque la place du premier, je fais monter la côté, sur moi tu mises gros, tu connais déjà l'équipe, ça criera au complot, je prends le double, on est quitté, je fais la magie des chiffres. La somme je la triple, la concurrence la dribble et le stade est en délire, ça fait choquer, j'arrive pour tous les choquer, toute la foule elle est choquée, j'espère que t'es accroché, gauche droite esquive les rageux, coach m'a rajouté du temps de jeu, dans l'action ouais je me sens en feu, je suis on fire, je fais la différence au compteur, money time ça shoot sur le buzzer, je suis on fire, choqué, j'arrive pour tous les choquer, toute la foule elle est choquée, j'espère que t'es j'arrive pour tous les choquer, toute la foule elle est choquée, j'espère que t'es accroché.
It's about time.
One more song. You choose.
I've got just the one.
And now with 24 seconds left to go, Loira has to make a deep rotation, finding Wando on the J, what a shot, and this is why he's the demon. Loira finding 3!
Low HP bodies on each respective side. Uno, he's getting aggressive, that's suppressor show him. It might help you out a little bit, but oh my god! Good for one here, and should be onto Boa. Getting that plant down, Element to the bottom, to the yellow pig as well! Yay for Element!
The Psycho kill as well, they're just pushing for the fight, he's on the back end! But 1 versus 1 with a demon!
Excellent patience here from CAG. Shuri holding it down, taking some damage. Blaz sticking the plant, not falling off. He commits, and Shuri gets the down. Go to, so why not? Oh!
And if the overextension comes in from Lender, he might get a chance. Can he hit his shots? Yes! Lands the first, hits the second.
Do not die. Don't give them the 1v1. Oh, what have you done? You've died. C4 goes in.
Do at this point. He can converge on his position. He's got to be ready for this. The ace has got a whip. He somehow does. Can finish this. Surely land the C4.
Shut down now
by Newers. Wary about these frost mats that could be sitting under the windows as well as this angle below gym wall. Newers now the last man standing. He's good for 4 as well as the ace.
2 people have to come here and nothing to respond from Fatal. But can they get the case back down? Gomez taking a fight. He can hide! The case going back down though. He can run back up on it. Skipsy isn't alive any longer.
Logo depois que ele terminou, que ele parou de jogar tênis, ele começou a jogar muito videogame. A gente brigava muito, mas ele insistia em jogar e tal. Até que um dia ele chegou e falou para mim: pai, hoje eu sei que você não gosta, mas hoje eu tô entre os 3 mil melhores jogadores do mundo de Rainbow Six. Aí a partir daquele momento eu parei de me incomodar tanto. Mas um dia ele chegou para mim e falou que ele queria virar jogador profissional de videogame. E aí eu falei para ele não, que ele não podia ser profissional de videogame porque a gente não sabe onde que vai dar isso.
Meu nome é Juan Fernando e eu estou falando de São Paulo, capital. Meu pai, ele é jogador de xadrez e eu acabei seguindo um pouquinho do jogo. Eu gostava muito de ficar pensando e eu achava muito interessante o xadrez por causa disso. Mas ele conheceu o tênis e foi aí que também ele
Blink and you'd miss it. SSG with a very dominant 7-2 win over SCARZ. And really, Tim, as we said back in the game itself, SCARZ's turning round wins came from pretty big performances from 2 players in Nina and Fishfight. But outside of that, they really lacked the teeth to get the job done.
Yeah, I think, you know, any of the rounds where SSG really challenged them, SCARZ pretty much folded.
I love it.
Like you say, on those rounds where they were able to rack up a couple of kills quite quickly and get that man advantage, yes, that's where they found some success. But overall, in reality, SSG just looking like much the better team through Consulate.
One thing I will allow SCARZ is, I believe that's their first game.
It's their first day.
Exactly that. The first game, they had yesterday off. Every team gets 1 day off during groups, and for SCARZ, that was yesterday. SSG have already had their warm. They're already in tournament mode. They're already rolled into playing the games and prepping for opponents and all that good stuff. So maybe you forgive them a little bit of a sleepy start, but now is the time where you have to wake up. There's no excuses really here saying, we were off our game that day, and that day someone felt a bit under the weather. Before you know it, you're 0-4, and you're going home and out of the group stages of SI. In case you missed it, here's what the numbers look like. And fair to say, Tim, they don't really make pretty reading overall. Like, only the best we've had is with Shoy going 8-8 to break even. Everyone else negative on the side of SCARZ.
Yeah, and it's not going to be good enough to beat this SSG side. We can see there, I think it was 5 or 6 rounds in a row. It was 6, in fact, for SSG to get it won, and that doesn't bode well coming into Chalet here for SCARZ. You know, yes, it's their map pick, but still, I just feel like they could be in some real trouble here. They've got to stop the rot very, very quickly. They need to come in for me and get at least a couple of rounds to kick things off here to send a message to SSG. Everything's a little bit quiet from SCARZ. They are a quiet team. I get that a lot of the time, but everything just looks a little bit quiet, or, you know, a little bit low energy.
They haven't got a lunatic like Anderton on the team.
No, you know, everything's quiet. Everything's a little bit low energy, and I just feel like SSG at the minute are right on top.
They are. The other side of it, too, of course, for helping SCARZ out on this map going into Chalet, is they saw SSG play on this yesterday against Virtus Pro. There's a bit of learning to do from that. As I said earlier on, only so much you can learn from 8 rounds of play rather than watching a full 15-round game. But hopefully it gives them a little bit of a leg up, something to get them started at the tournament, because as mentioned again, 2-3 cases what got them moving in the last map. That's all we really saw from them. I do want to see them fight their way back, because for SCARZ, as I mentioned, when they made it to the quarters back in Copenhagen, everyone was behind them. It was like, yeah, wicked. Like, a team we don't normally see at quarters is here rather than same old BDS or same old Dark Zero. It was nice to see a different team in there. And they really did get a lot of crowd backing, just couldn't quite deliver when it mattered most. Although, to be fair, losing to FaZe on the live stage certainly is not anything to turn your nose up at. It is a hard task to beat FaZe ever. In fact, as we look back over FaZe's last few years, the only times they've lost at competitions has been to the eventual winners or finalists of those tournaments. So unless SCARZ were looking to really want to be a finalist, it's a hard ask.
SCARZ are a team that you love to love. It's as you know, if they don't even, if they're winning games and they're doing kind of well, people will scream for them.
Oh, yeah.
Quite rightly, because they are an entertaining team to watch. This brand of Siege is a little bit different. They just seem a little bit out of the depth here in the first matchup today.
They do.
Like you say, maybe they just need to settle in. Maybe it'll get better over the next couple of days. But ultimately, at the minute, they're in a little bit of trouble here against the North American side. And I think, like I said, they need to come out on Chalet. They need to really put a marker down and just get a couple of really big rounds to kick things off, get themselves a 2-0, 3-0 lead and go from there, because otherwise this one is going to run away from them quickly. They're facing 6 rounds in a row now that they've lost. The more that stacks up, the harder it gets.
Yes, and into the bans we go. And this time around, the bans are actually accurate because we haven't got blue team starting on the defense. Oh, Ashen, please. What?
He's already in the...
What are you going to say, bro? Come on, let's get it out of the way. You need what? Come on.
Rex just being nice, you see.
I feel really bad for Rek, actually, because in the pre-game lobby, he was like,
He was
hello,
like, "Hi,
hello,
hello,
hey, 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 and no one
Nobody
responded to him.
replied.
I feel so bad for him. He just wanted to make a friend. That's all he was asking for. Fans have flown through pretty quick, though. Blackbeard and his army taken away by SCARZ. The Monty, as I mentioned, it's a go-to thing. If you're a team in the Japan League, you have to have a Monty main. Therefore, the ban makes total sense. And the final ban to come out for is, drumroll please, going to be a Valkyrie. Saw quite a bit of that in the last map, actually coming out from Rek, I believe it was, playing it in the early rounds. You recall him in his little rat, I wouldn't really call it a rat spot, when he was sat inside a cubby up on that top floor in the meeting room.
It is a little bit. It's
a bit cheeky.
Honestly, I would say this is one that's actually, Fresh is going to be sat there laughing because it's one that he does all the time.
I bet he does.
Even if it's reinforced and they're hard breaching it, if you stand in the corner, it doesn't damage you to kill you. So they never expect you to be stood in the corner. Fresh regularly gets kills from there. So if you're playing at home in your ranked games, try standing in that corner when they're breaching and just poke your head out as soon as they do. And you might just find yourself a couple of kills.
People are going to be on Twitter at you about this, saying, well, I tried it in my game, mate, and they knew where I was and killed me. Cheers, Tim.
That's your problem. Your elo is not my problem.
Problem sounds like them listening to your advice.
Nope.
Anyway, starting things off down in the basement, SSG are on the defense. Ashen, I think, is probably fancying a little bit of bunting because he's across on the Vigil. It was banned against them in the previous map, if you recall. Well, now he is unleashed and can go about doing his usual business, causing a bit of chaos and no doubt chatting some crazy shit when he gets a 3K.
I think SSG need to be a little bit cautious here. I don't think it's a bad thing. Let Bender and Ashen do their things on defense. Let them get out. Let them be a nuisance. But don't be overconfident here. Yes, you've just had a pretty easy map. You picked Consulate. You've got a pretty easy map there. But just, SCARZ are a capable team. They've been around a long time. They know what's going on. Just be careful that you don't give them anything too easily.
You play this dance back and forth now if you really need to. Might lead to a bit of a delay in this wall being opened up, but trust me, it will be opened up. Unless Faults can really work some magic to get it re-electrified in time and get rid of the exothermic. Not anticipating it, but there we go. And another delay comes on through. The thing, again, I've really been wanting to see, at least on this map, I think, from the side of SCARZ, is their ability to play a bit differently. And when I say differently, I said last time around they were very single-minded. It was like, okay, we're going in through Garage Breach, for example, like you're seeing here, and every player would be so focused on that they wouldn't be expecting a flank or a jump out or something along those lines, and SSG would punish them for it. So I do want to see a little bit more consideration for the rest of the map, a little bit more complexity to their attacks. Otherwise, SSG will just tear them limb from limb once again.
SSG need to be a little bit careful here. They've got Bender and Ashen out on their own, which is absolutely fine, but they just need to be cautious that they don't leave themselves light-handed down in sight as well. Obviously that main breach has been opened up now. Deployable shield has been cleared. The potential that SCARZ could look at this and think, let's just get in there quickly, leave them out in the cold and pick them up as they come back, because they'll have to come down staircases, they'll have to expose themselves to us in order to get back to site. So Nina at the minute is still way out there, potentially looking to challenge them up on the top floor, but yeah, something that SSG needs to be aware of.
Despite that initial focus on this downstairs, it has turned into a full map fight out from SCARZ, and almost sucked away from the objective. And I was saying I want to see more complexity to the attack. That doesn't mean start looking at the site and then take everyone away from that and focus on the rest of the map. But he's like,
you've got a minute left.
Yeah, it's been a full move away. Look, they've completely ignored what's going on in the breach too as well. Just said, okay, cool, we'll just leave that and abandon and go towards trench side. My problem with trench side is it's so enclosed and so... you feel like you're walking into Death Alley when you step inside there. So I'm a little bit concerned, Tim, that one, they've left it too late, and two, they're making things even harder for themselves.
What have they done? They haven't done anything about Bencher on the top floor. They've gone and sat up there on the windows looking. They've never gone in the building on the top floor.
Oh, well, guys, we tried.
Yeah, they've never gone in the building to actually challenge him. So all they've done is spent a minute and a half, 2 minutes, not really clearing anybody out. Benja's going to return to site, but he's going to be cut down. This is better.
Winnable.
3 versus 2, but the time is going to become a factor. 16 seconds left to go. They do get themselves inside now, SCARZ. Low health for Pulse. It's not going to be an easy win, but he gets one. Can he find the second? He knows where he's coming from, but no! Fishlag just about manages to thread the needle and find the shot around the boxes. SCARZ did not do it the easy way, but they win round 1 and they stop the momentum that SSG had built.
It's so weird how it feels like nothing happened for 2.5 minutes.
It honestly felt, and I don't want to downplay what SCARZ have done. Their last 40 seconds attack onto site was good. Their awareness of Benja dropping back was good. And I spoke about them potentially pushing straight to site. But the amount of time that they wasted watching them on the top floor, it ends up the round feels more like luck than management in some ways. Ultimately, yeah, that was the plan, but in that case, you didn't need to spend a minute and a half on the windows upstairs watching Benja and Ashen run round.
Not the best start, but they get the result they need, Tim, an attacking round win.
Whether, you know, however it goes on the board, it goes on the board.
Exactly, that's all anyone cares about at the end of the day. Less so how you won, but more the fact that you won or potentially lost. A good start. SSG, I imagine, kicking themselves. They feel like they played the rest of that round very spot on, I'd expect. Just got stung more towards the end of things. Now, looking at the SCARZ lineup, Tim, 2 operators jump to mind here. Rex, Amaru, and Nina's Sense. Sense spoke about quite a lot already over the last couple of days. In quite an uptick in pick rate. I think because you can now drop down the walls, teams are finding very creative ways to work with that light wall. Whereas on the Amaru side, I think I've seen it maybe once otherwise picked up, and definitely not for any kind of craziness up through hatches, for example. But knowing this side, knowing SCARZ, as a Japanese team, expect some shenanigans is all I'll say.
Yep, almost certainly. I think you're probably right there. We're going to have the air jabs going out just to try and prevent any jump outs, any run outs, any aggression like that. SCARZ are going to need to take top floor control here, pushing onto kitchen and dining as they are. They are very concerned about potential aggression, I think, coming out of SSG with the Nomad, with the Claymores. They don't want to be jumping out on, they don't want to be losing any easy lives like that. I'm just looking for SCARZ this time to act a little bit quicker. They got away with it last time. It came down to a 1v1. It was very winnable for Fultz at the end. But save yourself the headache. Get in there a little bit quicker. Make these challenges.
Nice.
Well, look, they were worried about the jump outs, and they should have been, but Fultz didn't move quickly enough. Takes down was Shoy, which it's not the biggest pickup being the Ash. Lost the Solus now. Benja does manage to find Tayu, and without too much of a surprise here, SSG is starting to get really aggressive.
I tell you, Benja's having a bit of a series, isn't he? Starting on that first map looking real strong, with double digits on kills, and it's obviously not there yet, but he just looks confident whenever he gets himself involved in these gunfights. Problem is, Tim, they brought these operators along. I really thought we'd see him cook something special. It just has not come to fruition. Nina, the last one left alive against 4. There's still a minute and 15 to play.
Just going to hold his angle for the time being. It's honestly not the end of the world. If it's there's 2 reasons. Often we'll talk about, you know, where players kind of hit a pause button when they've got a lot of time left and they're in a 1vx. This is not the kind of unofficial timeout that we talk about. This is Nina just seeing if any of the players are going to be a little bit silly and over-aggressive and give him a free kill, because then it starts to become a little bit more winnable. If he plays around the site here, he may just catch 1 or 2 on a rotation, and a 1v4 can quickly become a 1v2. He's just using his time wisely to try and see if he can catch anybody out.
And unfortunately, I do not suspect that he will.
I don't think SSG will give him that, that good grace.
They've been really good at being composed. We saw it back on the last map when they know they're an advantage to be able to win, is not getting too over the top, not getting ahead of themselves and forcing gunfights they don't need to. Comfortable closeout, and that evens things up at 1 apiece. It feels weird saying 1 apiece because I don't really feel like SCARZ have commanded the necessity to get that first round, but they've got it anyway. It's a weird one.
It is.
Is it last game of B Stream of the Day vibes, or are SCARZ just rattling us here a little bit? Judging by your silence, I know that you prefer the second option, but don't want to say it.
I think, look, let's see how the rest of Chalet goes, but I don't know. I don't think, if I'm being honest, that there's going to be many more rounds for SCARZ, because I just feel like SSG there, you know, we saw the way that Benja was running it and Fultz going out of the window. SCARZ, you kind of feel for them, you know, they put 2 claymores down, they put air jabs down, they'd covered as many kind of places as they could. You know, how much more utility can you bring to prevent it? But still, SSG find the window that isn't protected. Out they go and get the kill. And yeah, it's just getting a little bit difficult for SCARZ at the minute. And I don't really know what much they can do differently. You know, on the attack,
there's a lot they can do differently,
Well,
Tim.
yeah, there is. But on the attack, it's not really for them to necessarily... It's going to be difficult for them to kind of go in and change the pace of things because they're having to play and they're having to react to what SSG are doing. It's going to make it a little bit tough. When they get on defense themselves, yeah, they can commit to a heavy roam game, for example, and they can give SSG problems to solve. Whereas on attack, they're just having to respond to what's in front of them.
The concern is, like, again, we've got 3 or 4 players here. I think it's 3 stationed around this garage door. Fine, that's a great way to start in, but normally you'd see an individual player doing that, like a Buck or something that enters in through, works the way at lobby stairs, and is then in fireplace able to command a little bit of attention. But here, it's a lot of nothing. Like, sure, get to the building, do your droning, I completely appreciate that. But I think what we want to really see is a full map clear, and honestly, I'd really like to see them either start with a big focus on library or go for a solo side clear down. You know that there are roamers on this team. You can't keep on trying to go direct towards site. It's not going to work out for you. But they're just not showing the beans, I think, or the intention of going for that clear that's going to help them out.
Nina's...
What are we feeling, boys? Come on.
So you've got Nina creeping round on the knocking basement. And the whole idea there is stay off the radar. But then you've got these track stingers going chunk, 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 chunk around. You know, it's kind of defeating the object of what you're trying to do in a way. You know, you've got...
Tim,
they're well aware there's players in basement now.
Half the round's gone. There's 4 players hanging around garage if you include the Nook alongside the 3 that we're trying to work in through it. And this is what I mean. I'm just like...
That's what I mean. The Nook's creeping round.
What's the
But
intent?
everybody's in basement. You know, they know that you're there. You're not creeping up on anybody.
So you're not creeping up on anybody?
You know, they know.
All right, right idea, guys. We know there's someone tucked inside a... Come on, surely. There we go. Surely we get him out of here now. Has the nade gone too far? Oh my god, I didn't even get the shield. Okay. Yep, okay. It's last game of the day, B-Stream vibes.
SSG are looking pretty comfortable at this point. In reality, SCARZ are going to struggle to get themselves on into sight. Drop away down the hatch. Again, not really being punished there. J9 taking a lot of damage along the way. Fishlight does manage to pick up Benja. SCARZ going to somehow
I hate how they make it work, honestly.
I know, they're somehow going to get this round in the last 30 seconds again. We'll see what happens. 5 versus 4. J9 on the front low health as well, but so is Rek. Time is ticking. 40 seconds left to go. They don't have top floor control. Ashen is still up there and can play from the hatch. So kind of wondering at this point where SCARZ are going to look to potentially put that diffuser down because they're going to need to extend the clock at this rate. But Ashen starts taking damage. Forrest manages to find a kill onto Fishlight. 4 versus 4. 20 seconds left to go.
You know what? I think it's a genius strategy. I've changed my mind. SCARZ are on a new level. It's bore your opponents to death until they're forced to run into you. And it's almost worked out. They've almost killed J9 and Ashen. But they couldn't quite hit the target, so it hasn't worked out the way they need. They've got no time left. Smokes might go in here, but I'm worried it's a bit too late. You haven't even considered the basics. Like there's a warden dug in here, and this round is cooked. That might be one of the worst rounds of Siege I think I've seen. It's taken 2 days, and I'm already saying this, Tim. Yeah, even Ashen in all chat is asking, what are you doing? I agree. Why were there 4 players in garage for half a round?
The thing that really got me, and I know I said it, but you've got a bunch of you in basement. You've got track stingers going off, and then you've got the knock with the gadget off creeping round. I don't understand.
They messed up the nades onto the warden. They knew the warden was here, yet he still was able to come and just so comfortably step out to his left and get a couple of kills in. Like, I don't know.
Maybe they thought that there's somebody in basement with them. And that's why I'm stuck on this knock issue.
The famous poltergeist of Chalet basement.
Maybe they thought somebody was in basement, and that's why they were creeping around trying to find somebody.
Is this someone in the room with us now? No.
No, I don't.
But it's like SSG were losing players or losing gunfights because they were just like, what is actually going on? We've got to go and find them. Like, they're doing something weird. And they just run into players that have been sat holding the same spot for 2.5 minutes. That's why Ashen almost went down on top floor. It was crazy. So, I don't know. SCARZ, you know it's the SI, right? You know it's like the most important tournament of the year. You've qualified for it. You've played well throughout the year to get to this stage.
This is the thing that I would say, genuinely. You know, I've watched a lot of SCARZ play. As I said, we've covered plenty of Japan League over the years. We know this team inside and out and these players. And this is, to me, just not indicative of the best they can play.
No, I agree.
It is not. You know, they are much better than this, and it feels like it's a bit of an off day. It's not usual for them to be spending 2 minutes just kind of loitering around and not really sure what to do or where to push.
I'll give them one day, but I'm pretty sure we're casting SCARZ 3 times this week, so tomorrow I'll be livid.
Yeah.
I'll be absolutely livid.
Any more of this, and there'll be trouble.
I'll be round there having words, that is
There'll
for
be
sure.
some serious trouble from SSG. Let's see how the rest of the game goes. Look, maybe SCARZ turn it around. SSG looking to challenge from the top floor. Benja, as we say, he's been having a good game so far, and he's looking to continue that. He's locked into Mezzanine at the minute. They're going to have to do something about him. J9O picks up Nina. That is going to be the Dockerby on. Big loss. That goes the calls, the potential to take the cameras. Not good.
Yeah, not ideal losing. He was on front door by himself as well, but like Nina was, so I get it, like, been isolated out. There's been good calls and communication from SSG. A good trade coming in there, as well as Fish-like Falls, with Shoy is there to pick up the pieces. Still a 3 versus 4, though, and SSG have got the numbers they need. Now a 4v2. What more is there to say to him? I think at this point, SSG have done enough to close out round 4.
SSG are playing really well. You know, SSG, I know we've been a little bit critical of SCARZ there, but in reality, you've still got to, you can only beat the team that's in front of you. And that's what SSG are doing. They're playing with Ashen and Benja out in the map. You know what? If SCARZ are going to take 2 minutes to push us, let's give them a reason to spend 2 minutes trying to chase us around the map. SSG have read into it perfectly, and they're playing it beautifully. They're winning the gunfights. They're taking advantage of every situation. They really are on top of what is going on. 4 versus 2, you know, they likely win this one as well and take themselves to 3-1. Whether they can continue that on the attack or not, I guess we'll see in the second half of things. But right now, they're looking good for at least a 4-2, if not a 5-1 half. Fultz and Ashen close it out. That's another one for them. 3-1, SSG cruising.
Cruising's one way to put it, Tim. There's a weird one looking at the start. I mean, again, what's really kind of weird for me is when you look back at what we spoke about in the pre-game is SCARZ have consistently been that #1 team from the Japan League, but there's more excitement and focus on CAG than there is SCARZ. It just feels so strange. So strange. More needs to come from this, and we'll see what more can follow. In fact, I wasn't quite sure what's happening over under the stream, but I'm guessing by that very loud noise, something has just happened. NA1, I assume.
I'm pretty sure that I could hear Troy's voice in there.
Yes.
So I think it might have been good news for Shopify.
Yeah,
Rebellion.
I think they won 7-1 against Secret. That is on Lair, I think was the last map. Yeah, just in the video. Troy did the classical like sort of thing to then scream and shout. It was brilliant.
Excellent.
Yeah, that was definitely Canadian notes. Well heard and well recognised.
NA had a terrible day yesterday. They were due a good day today,
They were.
and they've delivered.
Yeah, Unwanted were great.
Very good. Shopify Rebellion, good. Dark Zero, fantastic result. And SSG right now, absolutely dominating. So day 1 was not NA's day. Laxing leaves us with a smile because day 2 certainly is.
Revenge of NA. Just took a little bit of waking up from day 1. That's all that's really needed. And the tournament is up and moving for the region. Right, let's see if SCARZ can get a second round on this half. There is work to be done. Looking at the comp they got this time around, again, looking in towards the Ying, something we've seen quite a lot of. I like seeing Rek over on the Deimos. I enjoy seeing Deimos full stop, because most players that we've seen make use of this operator as one of their go. Forget about it. I like seeing Deimos.
What are you saying about Deimos?
Forget about it. I didn't say anything.
I'm going to hold you fully responsible. Rhett gets ripped off the window with the nitro from Benja. His good game continues, picks him up on the ward. I'm going to take down a drone and look to continue fighting. He knows that there's another on the solar window. Doesn't really need to overcommit to that. All they're looking to do is burn time and hold on to this top floor. The double window player, I think he's just going to drop away there and look to maybe move elsewhere. But Benja just needs to keep himself alive here because, as we've already seen, SCARZ are struggling to push into the building. They're struggling to clear these positions and just take advantage of that.
I'm just curious who maybe stands up here as the most played Deimos that we've got over, say, the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 months or so. Shaiko, Doki, Maya, Kobalak's up there, always up there. Believe it or not, Packer's actually played an awful lot of Deimos as well. Hasn't done very well on it, but he has played a lot of it. And for me, it's again, you see players play Deimos and you get excited by the potential of the operator. Think about Atom earlier on today. Of course, not going to see that much when Rex the one sat on a window on the Deimos. It's not a great spot to be in. It's not making use of the strengths of that operator. Ying now hits the deck. SSG, I was going to say, still have got all 5 players up. But like that, SCARZ find 2 kills, bring it down to a 3v3. Technically a 2v3 because Fishlike is on his backside. He's now finished off. SSG with the numbers advantage.
Giano just looking for the challenge onto that double window. He doesn't really need to take it. Tayu manages to finish him off. Washoi is inside of the building. Tayu is not. So right now, if SSG recognise that, they could go 2v1 onto the man inside of the map. But instead, it looks like they're just going to play things a little bit more passive now. Get themselves back into sight, hold it back, and just try and force SCARZ to do something. With only 2 on side, it's a smart move because Fultz, he's just hovering around. He's thinking about getting onto that top floor because the likelihood is if they want to get this diffuser down, they're both going to have to go to site because one needs to cover. You can't really cover properly from above, so the opportunity is there to then retake top floor when they go for that plant.
For us, the Fultz started well so far too. 5-1 and 5-2. On the other side, both players 2 and 4. So you can see who's been performing at least so far on this map. I mean, admittedly, as a team, it's been more SSG that's been doing the goods and doing the numbers. 10 seconds to play here. That time of becoming the extra man for this side, but they've got the kill they need, Tim. Forest starts his move up here. All he's got to do is find Tayu. They don't know exactly where he's coming from. Rounds on towards one. Will he find his man? No, Washoi hears him. They get a second round on the board, Tim. Still keeping it within 1 round of SSG. 3 and 2 to the North American side.
I think SSG were maybe a little bit too passive there. They dropped themselves too far away from site. They needed that information. They needed to know if the plant was going down. They pushed across the top floor into Piano because they didn't know. And they were just waiting for them. But like I said, they couldn't really cover properly. If the plant is going down inside a kitchen and you've got somebody trying to cover from master bedroom, for example, you can kill that player easily from dining and leave the diffuser cold on the ground. So really, both players are probably going to have to drop into site to get that diffuser down, and so it was just a bit of a waiting game for SSG. Wait for that to happen and then retake that top floor and get the kills, and unfortunately Fultz moves across and it's a little bit too soon, but he doesn't really know that the plant isn't going down yet, so he doesn't know that there's still going to be somebody up there. And for me, like I said, they were maybe just a little bit too far away from site and could have just done with that extra little bit of intel.
Okay.
Another round for SCARZ, though.
I tell you what, there's a world here, Tim, where they get 3 rounds this half. And given how it's been going for the most part, I'd be very shocked if they managed to get to that point. It would be, I wouldn't say so much undeserved because they've done what they need to do to get it over the finish line, sure. But SSG probably look at that and just think, man, probably shouldn't let that one slide. If you can take 5 defensive rounds against VP, you should be able to do the same against SCARZ, let's be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course you should. Right, here we go then. We're going to move into round 6. SSG, they're going to be wanting to walk away with 4 here. They need to be. Guman is going to go out onto the office balcony. And that's just going to provide any intel for maybe if that push is coming through onto Benja or not. SSG looking to hold onto this top floor for as long as possible. Pretty standard for a bar and game hold. Just try and hold on to this. Try and hold on to Library. Make it difficult for SCARZ to get those verticals.
Drones coming in and everything else, starting things out with a classic SCARZ start. Most of them up against the building, on the drones, figuring out exactly what is going on. And it's very common, it's worth stressing for most teams. Get yourself safe to the building, get on the drones, figure out that next plan of action and what it is that you need to be working through. For SSG, though, who have quite happily spread themselves around the map for the majority of these rounds, it is the same story. Last time around, SCARZ committed most players to work their way through Garage and ultimately wasted 2.5 minutes down there doing very little, to be frank. They couldn't get rid of the Warden, who ultimately came back to bite them in the execute, so surely a big focus for them is getting rid of Split in between those two sites and making sure that's cleared out before they even start thinking about an execute.
I think SCARZ is, you know, almost certainly looking forward to that second half. I think I'm expecting to see a little bit of improvement on the defensive side when they get there because, again, it removes that issue of having to take the honors, having to be the ones getting in there, having to be the ones driving the round. Nina does manage to pick up faults. That's a good start, taking down the Fenrir. That's going to lock the F-Nats in place, whichever are activated. And how about that, though? Ashen manages to get a beautiful double, swings onto Tayu, then 180 onto Fishlag. I think he put the diffuser down on the ground as well. Yeah, he's going to ping it out. His team are aware of it, so they can just play it in and around Solar. How about it? Always put a bullet or two through the softball. You never know what you might find. With Shoy taken down, Benja finds Nina, and it has fallen apart for SCARZ again. Trying to get anything going, but with that diffuser down, 40 seconds left to go. This one's done. SSG 4-2 on the half, almost certainly.
It's really going to require a miracle from Rek and wasn't even aware of the frost mat just inside the window. Down by that and then finished off by the player inside a Split.
It just goes to show sometimes if you're just having a good day on Siege like Ashen is today, just take a shot at that barricade. Just pop a few bullets through the wall because they'll land on something. You know, sometimes you just have those days where you could shoot up in the air and hit somebody. You just don't miss, and that was the case for Ashen there. Absolutely beautiful 3K.
He was also in all chat and said, Nina, you are useless, bro. So he might not be screaming it, but he's still typing it in all chat. He's still letting him know how he's feeling about this game.
So calm. So calm. After a beautiful 3K there. So we switch sides. SSG go on to the attack. They're going to be attacking top floor to begin with. I imagine we'll see them trying to get library control off this balcony and push in from that side. Maybe a little bit of attention towards Solar, bathroom windows. Why not? I think the honest answer for SSG here is keep piling the pressure on now. Just keep stretching SCARZ. Don't give them the opportunity of a one-dimensional attack. Get on every side of them. Make it an absolute nightmare for them. Get somebody on double window, Solar, bathroom window, office side. Come in from library. You know, really surround them. Close the net and just make life absolutely miserable for them.
Okay. Let's see how things go now. We swap sides at the very least. SCARZ on the defense. And SSG on the attacking side. Now, pace, I wouldn't be shocked to see coming out of SSG. Got things like the Blitz available to them. We've seen them make use of that a lot historically. At least in this round, it's not going to be something they're deploying, instead leaning it towards the Sense. And also got the Deimos here for Ashen. Remember what I said about Deimos players, Tim? Ashen might be one of those players. We're going to find out.
It's going to be holding that long angle as the double window is opened up in case anybody's just on the inside of it. That wasn't the case, so it may well be.
This is early.
I was going to say, this is very early, but if you're putting that in there, it's because you're kind of ready to go. Need to be careful, though. There is somebody on that library corridor window. Benja finds Rek, and this could be the beginning for SSG. The light screen went in, and they're just going to be poised and ready to go around that double window. They're just getting themselves into position, SSG. They continue to move through the map. If you remember what I said, keep the pressure on SCARZ, and that's exactly what they are doing. They're not giving them an inch to breathe here inside a Chalet. Benja's just walking around, killing at will at this point. 5 versus 3 now. SSG are really tearing SCARZ apart.
They've got the right idea. There is someone outside in the balcony. I don't think you're going to be able to kill them. It's JNO on the sledge who's been hovering around. They're really trying to commit. This is the second player I saw a second ago. In fact, was it almost 3 of them trying to commit towards this? If you also include someone trying to attack on towards the library window, maybe. I'm not going to find anything. A track coming on through, which will probably dissuade them from trying to be too aggressive about this as well. So SSG done the right thing. Ben just floated on through, got a couple of kills. Now it's about converting onto the last 3 players, with Shoy also falling. SSG up 5-2.
Yeah, Pencha's actually got the case as well. Still underneath, it sort of says to me that they're not really shaping up towards putting a plant down.
Nah.
That they're just happy to go around chasing the kills, looking to find them. The Deimos tracks are coming out as well now. Oh, getting caught out there. Come on, Bencha. That's the oldest angle in the book on Chalet. Just waiting above there for anybody coming up the stairs. Fishlight manages to pick him up. That's going to put Diffuser on the ground as well. That'll need to be recovered now. So SSG need to be careful. Still looks like they win this one, but it's not a guarantee at this point.
No, not when you get down to these final 30 seconds either. You always say it, but that clock becomes the 6th man for a team. Fultz playing the patient game.
I think it's a guarantee now.
I think it's pretty much set in now, yeah, indeed. SSG is holding angles on that top floor for basically the entirety of the round. The bathroom window, the double window, and just letting players walk into it with Benja trying to massage them from below a little bit. Just looked a little bit too pedestrian for SSG. Up 5-2. SCARZ, it's already looking like a mountain to climb up.
Yeah, it is. It's exactly what I said. I wanted to see SSG do really just surround them. They had a presence all over the place, and there was just nowhere safe. Double window, bathroom, solar, underneath, just really put the pressure on SCARZ from absolutely everywhere, so they just feel like nowhere is safe. They had players underneath. Benja went and killed them. Just keep doing that. Don't give them any room to breathe here, and you'll find yourself another 7-2. It'll be 14-4, and you'll be done for the night, and that's what's looking likely for SSG at the minute. We move into round 8 then. It's going to be bar and gaming this time, and honestly, with the way that last round has gone, I don't think this is going to be any easier for SCARZ. They're going to need to keep hold of Mezzanine and Library. SSG, again, just going to pile the pressure on that top floor.
And why not? It works so effectively. Just to see how they actually break this one, to be fair. They've got the Sense coming on side again. Now, on this side in particular, you always think about the Sense gadget being rolled in through the drone hole, just at the one that sits the chassis inside the site itself. So they could get a bit cheeky on that side to make use of that if they want to, which suggests that taking control of Library is going to be their main focus. As you can see through the outlines in the far-off distance, though, everyone's quite scattered. You've got 2 out towards front door and off towards master side. You've got 1 coming up towards solar at the same time, so quite a spread. And in fact, maybe even looking for a full map clear here, the side of SSG.
Just going to be Fultz has diffuser in hand. Over on that double window side again. So like I say, it's going to be about getting into top floor. But whilst they're making a lot of noise top floor here, Benja once again, and really SCARZ should be prepared for this. They should be thinking about it. Benja's been playing on his own. He's not been playing with the team. He's been lurking around. He's been getting kills everywhere all over the map. Where is he going to be coming from? And the answer is he's going to be coming from the opposite end of where everybody else is. And that's exactly what Benja's doing at the minute on the Dokkaebi. He's just moving his way up there, and he's looking to get into a position to spring. He now needs the rest of his team to kind of just flush them into him. Just create that movement, and he'll step up those stairs and bang, get himself a couple of kills.
He's got the first call online, the second one available in 15 seconds too, so it's going to start boiling up to it, I think, where I'll pull that trigger, and it's all going to start crumbling for SCARZ if they're not too careful. SSG been very, very good so far throughout the series at isolating players. That was like, again, pedestrian. It really feels like Wishoy should have had Benja's number there, but Benja's just that guy.
Kills going either way. J9O picking up 2. Nina and Fishlike taken down. 3 versus 2. It's up to Tayu and Rek to try and hold on. The problem is that they are very separate at the minute, and the reason that's a problem is they can't impact on each other's fights or deaths, and that is exactly what I'm talking about. Tayu's taken down because SSG gang up on him, and that means that Rek now has to fight his way back in on his own. The plant goes down. Benja's able to get guns up. They know where he's coming from. They're using his utility against him. The mirror window from the defenders is now working for the attackers, just peeking out from behind the bomb chassis. Nitro goes out. No, Benja gets out of the way of it. Rek, he's doing his best to try and fight his way back in, but it's unlikely to be successful. He's on low health. Benja steps out and gets the kill. That's going to be another round for SSG. That's 6-2.
Benja's having a little bit too much fun. Too much ease, I think, is probably the problem as well.
He's just doing what he wants. He's just doing exactly what he wants at this point.
It's like I said on the stairs, like he didn't know Wishoy was there by the looks of it. Really felt Wishoy should have had his number there and brought him down for free, but it just wasn't to be the case. Sorry to say it, SCARZ, but attack timeout is probably a little bit late when you're down 6-2 at this point. It's a 4-round mountain to climb. SSG a single round away from getting this one closed up 2-0.
And I think that's probably likely to happen sooner rather than later. Like I say, SCARZ have been off the pace today. They can definitely perform better than this, but it's also fair to say that SSG have had a good game. Ashen, Benja particularly, have been an absolute nightmare to pin down.
They have.
They've been doing things, very well as well, just the way the other players have been flushing the defenders around here in the last couple of rounds, forcing SCARZ into bad positions. They've just been well on top of all aspects of the game.
They have, and it's hard to really see how SCARZ have any way of turning it back around. And I imagine many of you looking at this and probably hoping to get some idea on What are SSG doing? How can we beat them in the future days? You're probably not going to learn too much from this.
I don't think you are, in honesty.
I don't you haven't really seen them stretched.
No, I think you're absolutely right there, Des. You know, the game to look back at for SSG is yesterday's game. Realistically, if you're looking for how to stretch them, how to find gaps, you're not going to find too much here, because all you're going to really witness is, Benja's wandering around downstairs again on his own.
Yep.
You know, they're not necessarily going to be doing that regularly, but whilst they're getting away with it, they will continue doing so. SCARZ, I would love to see you get a couple of rounds here and make a game of this one. They're going to be looking to hold on to multiple areas. It's basement, but they've got a mirror window in dining, so there's a bit of a commitment at least to the first floor there. Need to keep hold of the top floor in that case, because otherwise I would expect SSG to just walk into office, shoot the floor open, and pop the mirror window.
He wanted to start because I think, as we see so many teams do, you have the tap timeout. That's the time when you try something a little bit different. You'll see a rush come out, for example, just to try and upset the apple cart, change the tempo of the game a little bit, and rock the opponents when they're expecting or they've planned for something in particular. I think it's just good for SSG to have a little bit of discipline still, and probably also a little bit of respect towards SCARZ there, and expect that that sort of thing might come out, might catch them off guard. Just playing things super sensibly for now, starting to think about what this execute looks like. And already you can see 2-3 players all working up towards Trench. On SSG side, they're starting out on Garage. The disparity between SSG's attack already and what we saw from SCARZ earlier, where it was, 3 players sat outside this garage door whilst they were getting it open, then everyone rotates around to Trench, and then the round just kind of peters out from there. For SSG, they're taking on 2 parts of the map at the same time. That's the kind of complexity that I was saying I'd love to see from SCARZ back in that first half.
Nina's got himself into a position he's going to get a freebie, absolutely. There they go, no idea. And this is what SCARZ need to be doing, really. They thought they were safe. They thought they had the air jab down, but Forrest reacts quickly. And again, it's SSG doing things well. Yes, Bolts had no idea, and he gets caught out as the Thermite. And that's not great. They've lost some serious hard breach there. They're wanting to breach that wine wall more than likely with the Thermite. They've already used 2 Selma charges on the front side, so now they are limited. What you want to do is an exothermic on wine wall, and your last Selma onto the long angle from refrigerator, from car garage, all the way down to connector, so that you can hold it whilst you're going through the sort of boiler wine wall and get yourself into a planting position. They can't do that anymore. So it is a bit of a loss from SSG, all because they hadn't drawn that out properly. But Forrest reacts well, gets the kill. Washoy is there and manages to it's not even a late trade really, but Tayu managing to find J9. SSG are just trying to get aggressive here. They don't really mind. It's 6-2. If they lose the round, they lose the round. Benja just trying to do what he can here. Unlikely he wins this one. And it's been better from SCARZ. 3v1, put down, dealt with, and SCARZ there, like I said, just a little bit better from them.
They're all composed. I think it's the main part.
I think just putting themselves in more dangerous positions. Nina inside a trophy, then dropping the hatch, gets himself a free kill onto the Thermite. That forces SSG to reassess because they don't have the hard breach they need anymore. And it's just a bit more of a deadly situation that they've not been creating prior to that.
A bit more Japan. Again, thinking about the disruptive playstyle they have. I reference it every now and again, but I think back to a clip that Mag posted actually a few years ago when he was scrimming against Cag back when he was on Fnatic. And there was just a moment on Clubhouse where he sat on the strip club roof, and then suddenly 3 players from Cag just burst out of windows, doorways, and it's just absolute chaos. I look back also at the Mexico Major in 2021, and Cag were that team that were bullying Team 1 off the map, if you recall. On Oregon, they were keeping them outside. They couldn't even get inside a door or a window without having someone being stood there ready to challenge them at a drop of a hat. And that's the kind of gameplay that I think over time teams have really learned to deal with very, very comfortably. It never really was a major threat, or saw, of course, a Japan team going on to win a big event, but it was definitely an adaptation that some teams had to make, because for a long time we'd always hear, God, we hate playing against Cag, or God, we hate playing against this team, because we just know what kind of chaos is going to follow when we face off against them in the server. For SCARZ, I think leaning into that is good, but as SSG showed back on the last map, if you leave one man out roaming by himself on the side of SCARZ, they will have 2 or 3 players that will pinch him out, and it is horrible to deal with when you've got a whole team bearing down on you, and you just don't know which angle's being watched.
Back up to the top floor for SCARZ then. We saw them defend it back in round 7, and it was not a success for them. It was the round with Benja just working underneath on the book. likely to be the case again. There was pressure from office balcony, double window, from bathroom window. They just made it an absolute nightmare for SCARZ to try and go anywhere. Jane, I know he's going to take a bit of damage. He's going to have to drop away. SCARZ, again, getting aggressive, taking the fight to SSG in a successful way. Not being penned in, not being cut down by Benja underneath already. This is good stuff from them.
Taking the fight, but also having a second player on that piano window ready to jump in the fight at the same time. This is what I mean. Like, again, the history that the Japanese teams carry with them is just being really aggressive. And it's good to see him showing a little bit of that. It's a bit too late for it, I'd wager. You know, when you're down at 6-2, to have a tack timeout to remind them, hey, guys, you can play like this, by the way. And then going, oh, yeah. Bit of a late time for it. I'd like to see that maybe down at 4-2, for example, or even after you've lost that first round of the half. But hey, at least it's starting to, I won't say bear fruits. They are the ones with negative HP off the back of that trade, but at least they're trying. And a great yellow ping coming on through gives them a couple of kills very quickly. SSG now in the driving seat to get this one closed out.
Yeah, I think Benja had a feeling that there was somebody on the other side of there, maybe just had a little audio cue, so the drone comes in and we just see beautiful teamwork, essentially. He's going to get... What are you doing?
You know,
what are you doing? They've already lost one person there, and you're just going to walk across without even looking at the barricade that's been broken. Benja quite easily gets his second. 4v2 now. Wreck on super low health. This one is pretty much done.
You have to see some real magic from Tayu, the healthier of the two remaining on this side, but with SSG having 60 seconds still to play with Tim, I don't think they're going to give any room over to the other side to get any way back into the round. Take your time here, find out where these players are. You know where at least one is anyway. You even got the drone here on him, and a great kill from Benja below, his third kill, without barely moving his feet at the same time. Just Rhett left standing. Tim, this one's done.
Yeah, they've all come from the same spot there for Benja. Like you say, Reg, 1, 2 HP maybe. If one of them, you know, coughs in his direction, it's probably going to be the end of it. So it's just going to be a matter of time now. He's just got himself sat in piano, and he's just going to wait and see if maybe anything presents itself nice and easily. The plant is going down. Unlikely to be able to stop it. The cover is there on the right. It is. It's Forrest who picks up the final kill. And as expected, SSG come away with a strong 2-map win against SCARZ.
I really hope we'd see a bit more from SCARZ today. And like I said earlier, I'm happy to put it down to map 1, okay, still getting warmed in. Map 2, all right, it's been more of the same. But we saw flickers of life, dare I say, after the timeout.
There was a couple of moments.
Yeah, and so I'd say, given this first day, we'll wait to see how they play tomorrow. But SSG, their campaign is well underway. They want to put themselves in a good standing going into the next stages of this tournament. As that reminder, first place, you get a bye through to the second round of the upper bracket. Second and third, they start off in the upper bracket first round. If you're finishing fourth, then you start off in the lower bracket. So every point, every map, everything counts. SSG has sort of really put a stake in the ground and show where they want to be.
Yeah, SCARZ have got to bounce back from this. They've got to look at, you know, round 2 and 3 on Consulate. They looked absolutely great. They had a couple of moments on Chalet, but otherwise just looked a little bit lost on Chalet to say that it was their map pick. By contrast, you know, let's look at the positives. SSG looked great there. They did everything they needed to do. It might not have been the normal game that they will play against everybody. We'll see. If they're being challenged a little bit more than that, maybe if they're losing bodies a little bit more, no, they're not going to play it in exactly the same way. But ultimately, they beat the team in front of them, and they did it really well. They recognised where the weaknesses were. They applied the pressure that they needed to, and they got some belting kills. We're seeing them come through now. Ashen and Benja were basically uncontrollable.
They were. This is the kill that I looked at and just thought, there's no way. We're sure he really should have had his number, but Benja completely blindsided him. 3Ks from this spot here, planting his feet and barely moving as well. Just showed that SSG here were on another level, unfortunately, in SCARZ. They've got some homework to do tonight, I think, if they're going to come back and put on a strong show tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think we just see a better performance from them in a different game. I think, like we said, they are way better than they've shown us today. They're way more capable, you know, and I'm sure that they're going to come back and have better performances. Again, you know, they've struggled in that KD bracket where SSG have been well on top of it.
They have. And Benja, I'll give a shout out to him today. I think all players on the side of SSG had their moments for sure. But Benja, I think, is the one who's looked the most consistent. Back on that first map, straight into like 10 and 4, I think he was really early on. 12 and 6 here, has floated through parts of the map and picked up kills seemingly for fun. It was like watching him play a ranked game at times, Tim. It was that simple for him. Really has put a torch to the name, I think. And there'll be a few who look at him and say he's one to watch out for in this tournament. 23 and 10 he ends on. On the other side, unfortunately, not a single player going positive. Rek, I think, especially, is one player you'll look at here, Tim, and think, we have to see more if this side are going to do well.
So much better.
He is
you know,
so much better.
So much better than 5 and 18. Benja 137 on the EPS. Fantastic performance. Really across the board.
They all
SSG.
played well. Yeah.
They've all played well. They've all had the moments. You know, and I think going forward from today, it puts SSG in a great position.
We've been given a wonderful drawing by Emmy.
I knew straight away that was going to get shown.
I just don't know why this is a thing that's been handed to us, but it's been handed. You look great, Tim.
Thanks. I'll sign it.
And give it to who? Back to Emmy?
No, keep it and frame it.
You're not serious. I know you are not going to frame that. There's zero chance you frame that.
No, I'm not.
Let's take a look at the schedule for tomorrow as well so we can see what's coming up on day 3 of the Six Invitational 2025. As mentioned, Tim, this has been day 2. Tomorrow, there is still plenty more action to take place over here on the B stream. We start out with BDS. Well, fair to say, Tim, they had their moment earlier on today, but we've really got to see this side wake up into things. They're coming up against Razor Company. If they're going to have a good performance, it's going to be there. DZ against Falcons, Furia against Team Secret, and Cyclops, the party spoilers, they come up against Shopify Rebellion, who have looked fantastic so far.
Yeah, they've looked good. Obviously, they had a tough game against FaZe yesterday. They've picked up a win today, so Shopify Rebellion, I fancied them coming in as, I'd put them maybe in the sort of dark horse group. I don't know if I'd go as far as like favourites.
I see them more as like party spoilers.
Shopify Rebellion have been great so far and very good to watch. Honestly, the upset tomorrow potentially. BDS had a tough game today against Dark Zero, and Raza Company have been looking good so far. Do not just chalk that one up as a BDS win. Could be a tough game. They need to really focus in for that one.
It's a good point. We spoke about them quite a lot last year. We
They
cast
are
them
a
back in
quality
Brazil.
outfit.
They are good. When they're on their day, they've got 3 or 4 players that really stand up there amongst the best in the world, but it's finding that consistency, I think.
Yep.
And against a team like BDS, who's coming back with hopefully a little bit more rejuvenated tomorrow after the realization that today was a really poor show, we see more from them, right?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the hope for EU fans everywhere, to be honest. But yeah, it won't be an easy game, and it's certainly not one not to miss.
For sure. Well, I believe we've still got games going on the A stream, but that is us done here for the B stream for today. Tune in tomorrow for more fun action, and until then, we'll catch you guys later. Have a good night.
Yes!